June 2020. A lake in Utah. This is where the lie died. For years, David Dobrik sold us a fantasy. It was the ultimate dream of the internet age, a group of best friends living in a mansion, driving fast cars, and laughing their way through life without a care in the world. They called it the Vlog Squad. It looked like magic. It looked like the kind of friendship we all wished we had. But on that day in Utah, the camera kept rolling while the fantasy shattered. David Dobrik, the multi-millionaire ringleader, decided to swing his friend Jeff Wittek from an excavator by a rope. He wanted a funny clip. He wanted a viral moment. Instead, he swung the machine too fast. Wittek slammed into the steel arm of the excavator. He shattered his skull. He broke his face. He nearly lost an eye. And in the aftermath, something terrifying became clear. Jeff wasn't a friend involved in a tragic accident. He was an unpaid employee injured on a hazardous work site due to the negligence of his boss. There were no safety coordinators, no insurance, no HR department to file a complaint with. Just a friend who needed a shot and another friend who felt pressured to give it to him. This isn't just about one YouTuber. This is about a massive invisible industry that has hijacked our understanding of human connection. From the Beast Gang to the Memphis Mafia, the biggest stars in history have all fallen into the same trap. They turn their inner circle into their payroll. They commodify intimacy. And when you turn friendship into a transaction, you don't just ruin the relationship, you create a monster. We are going to open up the hood of the friendship industrial complex. We are going to look at the leaked documents, the lawsuits, and the ruinous betrayals that prove one simple, brutal truth. You cannot pay someone to love you. But before we expose the machinery that chewed up Elvis Presley and is currently eating the modern creator economy alive, do me a favor. If you want to understand the dark psychology behind the content you consume every day, hit that subscribe button. We are digging into the stories the algorithm tries to hide. Like this video if you're ready to see the truth behind the smile. Why do they do it? Why does every massive celebrity, from rappers to YouTubers, eventually surround themselves with a wall of childhood friends? It starts with a lie we tell ourselves about loyalty. When you get famous, the world becomes a terrifying place. You feel like everyone wants something from you. Researchers call this the fishbowl effect. You are trapped in a glass room, staring out at millions of people who claim to know you. Paranoia sets in. You start asking yourself, do they like me or do they like the clout? So you retreat. You go back to the people who knew you before the money. You hire your high school quarterback. You hire your cousin. You hire the guy who sat next to you in math class. You tell yourself you are bringing the neighborhood with you, but science tells us something different. This is called the entourage effect. Psychological studies show that VIPs get a massive ego boost not just from having money, but from sharing it. A celebrity sitting alone in first class is just a rich customer. But a celebrity ushering 5 broke friends into first class? He is a king. He is a provider. The entourage creates a reality distortion field. If you see a joke and it's not funny, your paid friends will laugh anyway. If you want to make a terrible business decision, they will tell you it's genius. Why? Because if they tell you the truth, they lose the lease on the Mercedes you bought them. This creates a yes man ecosystem that is actually dangerous. And if you think this is just an old music industry problem, you are wrong. The modern version is colder, faster, and much more efficient. Welcome to the mastermind model. In the 90s, MC Hammer hired his friends and let them drain his bank account until he went bankrupt. That was the lottery model. Today's creators are smarter. They don't just hire friends as leeches, they hire them as assets. Look at MrBeast. Jimmy Donaldson didn't just stumble into success, he engineered it, and he used his friends as the raw materials. Leaked internal documents from MrBeast's production company reveal a corporate culture that looks less like a funhouse and more like a sweatshop. The document ruthlessly categorizes human beings. There are A players. These are the people who are obsessive, they have no work-life balance, they live and die for the channel. Then there are C players. The document labels them as poisonous. It says they should be transitioned immediately. Think about that language, transitioned. We aren't talking about a faceless corporate drone, we are talking about guys Jimmy grew up with. The document reveals that the boys we see on screen, Chris, Chandler, Carl, aren't just hanging out. They are part of a rigid hierarchy. Jimmy is the architect. He owns the company. He owns the data. His friends are the retention hacks. The algorithm rewards ensemble casts. Data shows that videos with a group of friends have higher retention than solo creators. It creates a parasocial web. If you get bored of Jimmy, you might stay for Chandler. So Jimmy converted his friendship circle into a cast list. But here is where the glitch happens. In a normal job, you can clock out. You can go home and be grumpy. In the squad model, your personality is the product. David Dobrik said it out loud in an interview. He said, "I get most of my work done when my friends are super drunk because I film basically everything." Think about that again. He is admitting that the most valuable asset he owns is the impaired, vulnerable state of his best friends. He isn't capturing memories, he is mining them for content. This creates a trust deficit. Imagine being in a room with your best friend. You want to vent about your day, you want to cry. But you know that if you cry in a funny way, it might end up in a thumbnail with a surprised face next to it. So you perform. You are never off the clock. The authenticity you see on screen is a mask. Behind the scenes, it is a high-pressure workplace where friendship is just a clause in the contract. But the person who suffers the most isn't always the one on camera. Sometimes it's the shadow. Let's talk about the personal assistant. In Hollywood, they have a crude nickname for them: chore handlers or gloryless gophers. Celebrities often hire a fan or a friend from back home to manage their lives. It sounds like a dream job. You travel the world, you meet stars, but psychologists have identified a terrifying condition that affects these people. It's called the vampire effect. The celebrity drains the life force of the assistant to sustain their own image. The assistant stops having hobbies, they stop dating, they miss their own family's birthdays to plan the celebrity's birthday. They become a prosthetic self. They hold the phone, they remember the names, they regulate the emotions. There is a concept called vicarious narcissism. The assistant starts to derive their entire self-worth from how close they are to the star. They think, "I am important because I am holding Justin Bieber's coffee." But it is fragile, because the moment the employment ends, the identity vanishes. You spent 10 years living someone else's life. Who are you when they take the phone away? This is the hidden tragedy of the friendship industrial complex. It eats people. It takes a dynamic that should be horizontal, peer-to-peer, and turns it vertical, master and servant. And when you mix money with master-servant dynamics, you don't just get sad assistance, you get crime. There is a rule in business: trust, but verify. In the squad, the rule is trust because we're boys. And that is a recipe for disaster. Look at Sting. He hired Keith Moore, a close personal friend, to be his financial advisor. He trusted him implicitly for 15 years. While Sting was writing hits, Moore was stealing 6 million euros from his accounts. He used the money to fund insane investments like a chain of Indian restaurants in Australia and a scheme to turn Russian military planes into passenger jets. Sting didn't notice for years. Why? Because you don't audit your friends. Or look at Leonard Cohen, a legend. He should have retired in peace. Instead, his longtime manager and former lover, Kelly Lynch, drained his retirement accounts. She stole over $5 million. Cohen discovered the theft when he was in his 70s. He was nearly bankrupt. He had to go back on tour. He spent the last years of his life on the road, not because he wanted to, but because he had to rebuild what his friend had stolen. This is the affinity fraud of the inner circle. The theft is only possible because of the friendship. The emotional bond acts as a smokescreen for the embezzlement. And sometimes the betrayal isn't about money, it's about the brand. We are watching the glitch happen in real time right now. The facade of the benevolent creator is cracking. Rosanna Pansino, a veteran creator, recently came forward with allegations against MrBeast. She claimed that she and others were encouraged to join something called Secret Sauce. It was pitched as a collaboration, a way for creators to help creators. But according to her, it was a data harvesting operation. MrBeast and his partners allegedly held ownership stakes they didn't disclose. When the company shut down, creators lost access to their own data. The friendship was a funnel. The collaboration was a customer acquisition strategy. This is the final stage of the disease. The architect views his friends not as humans but as inefficiencies to be optimized. The leaked MrBeast handbook says it clearly. It doesn't talk about fun, it talks about CTR and AVD, average view duration. It encourages employees to obsess. It demands perfection. It proves that at the highest levels of fame, the human element is an obstacle. The glitch isn't an accident. It is the system working exactly as designed. So what is the lesson here? If you are an aspiring creator, the answer is simple. Don't hire your friends, or if you do, treat them like partners. Give them equity. Give them a reason to stay that isn't just a monthly check. Because the lottery model, where you just hand out cash to your boys, ends in bankruptcy. And the mastermind model, where you exploit them for content, ends in lawsuits. The attempt to have it both ways is a ticking time bomb. You cannot be the cool best friend and the ruthless CEO at the same time. And for us, the viewers, we need to stop buying the lie. We need to understand that the squad is a cast, the house is a set, and the vlog is a TV show. The parasocial relationship is a one-way mirror. We see them, but they don't see us, and they definitely don't see their employees. The era of the organic squad is ending. The glitch has revealed the code. Fame doesn't just change people, it restructures their reality until the only thing that feels real is the deposit notification. If you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure you are subscribed. We are working on a massive documentary exposing the dark money behind viral TikTok trends next, and you do not want to miss it. Leave a comment below. Do you think it's possible to hire a friend and keep the friendship, or is it always doomed? Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.